Hi everyone, welcome back to episode 6 of At the Stove with Audrey Grove. I'm so glad you could join me today. Today we're doing a coffee break. So what do we have at our coffee break today? We're having a sour cream cinnamon coffee cake and a whipped coffee beverage. I can guarantee not only are you going to want to make that cinnamon coffee cake, but you are going to definitely want to make this whipped coffee beverage. It is heavenly. All right, let's get started. So today I brought out the big guy for mixing. A lot of times in baking I will use this, especially when butter or margarine's involved, because it's just so much easier on my hands. So we are going to cream margarine, vanilla, and sugar together. So I have a half a cup of margarine that I'll put in here. I want to make sure we get it all in. Sugar. We're going to use a cup of sugar. 1 cup of sugar. Just wanted to show you these absolutely adorable measuring cups. This was a gift from my daughter, Kimberly. Love them, love her. Okay, so we got a cup of sugar and a teaspoon of vanilla. Let's get the rest of our ingredients in the bowl. So our eggs, 2 eggs are beaten in here. They're thick and smooth. We're gonna add the flour, baking soda, baking powder, and the magic ingredient to make this smooth and velvety, sour cream. So I'm gonna get my baking powder and baking soda and put it in. I think I need a different measuring. Okay. So let's see, baking powder, 1 teaspoon. I'm gonna mix this into my flour. So the recipe calls for 1.5 cups of regular flour. So, baking powder, 1 teaspoon. Okay. Baking soda. It's 1/2 teaspoon, so I'm gonna eyeball that. Okay. I'm going to take my whisk and just whisk this together before I incorporate it into the wet ingredients. Again, it just brings some more air into the flour and it'll make it a fluffier cake. Okay. So I'm going to add now. Oh, let me grab my sour cream. If you don't have sour cream, I'm trying to think of some good ingredients that you could use to substitute. This is exactly a cup of sour cream, which is what you need. You could use cream cheese. My cameraman's trying to tell me something. What?
Yogurt.
Oh, very good. You could use yogurt. Hey, maybe you're going to be out in front of the camera. Okay, so I'm going to start by taking just some of the flour mixture and putting it in here, and we're going to start the noise again. Very slowly I'm going to incorporate. I'm going to get a smaller cup. How cute is that? That's the 1/2 cup. I'm going to put in some of the sour cream. That's going to be good. And let's put in some more flour. I do have that flour guard that does help with any kickback from the flour, but I figured, I don't even know. Why get something else dirty, right? cake has very few ingredients, but yet it tastes so good. There's the rest of the flour, and we've got the last of the sour cream. See what I can scrape out from here. I'm going to turn it off before I put the sour cream in because it splatters a little bit. I saw some splatter over there. Okay, oh, there's a little more. Let's get it off. That sour cream is like what makes it so velvety. Okay, last time, we'll let everything mix up. So we're gonna beat this until it's really smooth, which it almost is. It looks beautiful. I don't wanna overmix. I'm just gonna go slowly for a minute. Okay, great. Let's bring that down. Let's get this off. We're going to just get all the mixture, the batter off of the paddle. We'll give it a nice good stir after we get this all off, because we don't want to waste any of this deliciousness. Okay, into the sink, and we're actually, let's get a bigger spoon or spatula. It's kind of a spatula spoon. And just do a final mix up, get everything down from the sides. Ooh, this batter looks so good. So before we started, I prepared the baking pan for this cake. We are gonna make it in an 8x8 glass baking pan. And I've already greased it. So hopefully nothing is sticking to this. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna pour half the batter into the pan. And I don't know if we have any bakers out there watching this. Whoops, let's grab that. Oh, my cameraman's coughing. But if we have some bakers out there, you can tell the difference between different kinds of cake batters. And this one is definitely, it's very light and fluffy. So I'm gonna just mix it around because I want to use the other half to top it off. So let's see how much we can get to go around. Good. Oh yeah. Okay. I'm gonna take just a tiny bit more. Okay, that's half. Now, remember, this is called a sour cream cinnamon coffee cake. This recipe calls for to make a mixture of cinnamon, sugar, and nuts. But in my house, we don't love the nuts in the cake, so I'm gonna be omitting it, but you can put it in. So I've already made my cinnamon sugar mixture, and I'm going to do half of it onto this layer. It smells really good. I don't know if you know that there's all different kinds of cinnamon. I didn't know this until I really started baking a lot. But there is, and this cinnamon is called, and I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, Ceylon cinnamon. Now I'm gonna take a knife and just run the knife through the cake, just to kind of mix that cinnamon around. And I'm gonna do it from this side. Okay. So that's how it looks. It smells so good. Now I'm gonna take the rest of the batter and pour it on top. So now I'll be a little more careful because I want to be able to cover the bottom batter. And I don't want to mix around too much. I have a special knife for this. It's a frosting spreader, but it works just as well. So we only want to get the top layer involved, not the bottom layer. So you might be thinking, wow, that's like a really simple cake. It is. Not many ingredients, not too much to do, but yet it tastes so good. All right, let's see if we can get this all covered. I still have a little bit more cake batter. You don't have to use a stand mixer if you don't have one. You could use a hand mixer, or you don't have to use a mixer at all. You could use your own elbow grease to do this. I just figured it'll be much easier and quicker if I use my stand mixer. This, by the way, I don't know if any of you have a stand mixer, but I've had this mixer for, I'm gonna say 23 years now. It was a gift from my husband, and that was like when I asked for it. Don't think he, it's like I've heard of husbands buying wives vacuums for presents and the wives get mad. I had really expressed that I wanted a standing mixer. Anyway, use it all the time. All right, so here's our cake. And the last thing we're gonna do is take the last of the cinnamon sugar mixture, and if you wanted to add the nuts, you could, but I'm gonna sprinkle this on top. I've actually had it with the walnuts, but you could use any kind of nuts you want, and it was delicious, but my family does not love nuts in cakes. Just want to get the sides. Last side. So my oven is preheated to 350. And it's ready. It's ready to go. And the last thing we're gonna do to the cake is take that knife and we're gonna run it through it one more time. And remember, this is a coffee cake. It's not meant to look 100% perfect, like right out of a magazine. But it will look fabulous. Okay. So here we go. We're gonna take a break for an hour and 10 minutes while this cooks. We're back. I'm gonna take this cake out of the oven. I wish you could be in my house to smell how delicious it is. So cameraman, get a nice shot of that beautiful cake. Good. And we're gonna let that cool a minute, and we're gonna make our coffee beverage. So I don't know if you noticed, but I'm from New York. I have a pretty pronounced New York accent, and in New York, we don't call it coffee, we call it coffee. So we're gonna make a coffee beverage. So 3 things that you'll need for this beverage. You'll need some instant coffee. People these days don't use this a lot, but it's really good. So I've got some decaf coffee. So instant decaf coffee, some sugar, and warm water. So I'm gonna make 2 servings so I can feed my cameraman. So for each serving, we're gonna use 2 tablespoons of instant coffee. So there's 1 serving. 2 servings, so 4 tablespoons for 2 servings. Now we're gonna add 2 tablespoons of sugar per serving, so 4 tablespoons again. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay. The other ingredient is warm water. So I use really warm water because the coffee granules need to dissolve. So I'm sure you're wondering, well, what kind of drink is this gonna be? It's just wait. So our water's getting warm, but I want it to be really warm. Give it another minute. Matter of fact, we're gonna not use that. We're gonna use, I have an Instant Hot dispenser. So we're gonna do 4 tablespoons of that because remember, we're making 2 servings. 2, 3, and the last one I'm gonna use the warm water from the sink. 4. All right, so today we already used the standing mixer. Now we're gonna use the hand mixer, pulling out all the kitchen equipment. This part's a little noisy, but all I'm gonna do is whip this up into this mousse-like consistency. You can use a whisk, it'll just take longer. You could also use a hand mixer. Just moving it around. I have it on whip. It is a little messy, so I'm gonna keep my hands here. And I'll just keep whipping. Only takes a minute or so. The coffee now is going from a dark color to a lighter color, and it's starting to get a little bit thicker. I'm going to stop for a minute just so you can see that. It's already getting thicker and the color is lighter. This is so good. Color's getting even lighter as it thickens up. I'm going to continue, I was shouting, I'm going to continue whipping this and we'll be right back with the finished product. All right, so we are done. I want to just show you this coffee whip. Cameraman, can you get that? It's really thick. It's kind of like cloud moussey consistency. So I'm going to let that drip off the beaters and I'm going to cut a piece of cake. And this piece, I don't know if you could really see, you can see a little bit of the cinnamon layer. It smells delicious. But before we eat the cake, let's make our coffee beverage. So this is called whipped coffee, and you serve it over milk. And you could serve it over any kind of milk that you like. I happen to like oat milk. My husband likes almond milk. So I'll make mine first. I'm gonna pour about half a cup, maybe a little bit more of milk. I'm going to take out the beaters and get a spoon. Okay, so I'm gonna scoop up this yummy, yummy whipped coffee and put it in top, right on top. And if you could just get the consistency at the top and then the whole glass. I'm gonna make one for my husband because he's been an amazing cameraman. Thank you, Mark. Scoop some of that amazing coffee goodness. So the whipping part of this took all of probably 60 seconds. Maybe 70 seconds. I want to get all this yummy whipped goodness. You can serve it with a straw or an iced teaspoon. That's for Mark. This one's for me. So I'm gonna get a little bit, ooh, bless you. I'm gonna get a little bit of the milk. Bless you. It's allergy season here. And I'm gonna taste the cake. So you can see there's that cinnamon layer. Delicious. I hope you try this recipe, both of them. The whipped coffee, sour cream cinnamon coffee cake, perfect comfort food, especially for these crazy times. So from my house to yours, from my kitchen to yours, be well, be safe, and get cooking. One last thing, just wanted to let you know it's 10 minutes after we finished filming, and I think the cameraman liked the cake. Take a look how much is gone. All right, bye.